All right, let's get started. Well, happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to the deep dive on Jurny. My name is Kevin Morris. I'll be moderating today's webinar. Today's webinar is a deep dive on Jurny. We're going to be covering both the product, doing a bit of a product demonstration, giving some updates on the business, and also have time for Q&A. Before I do introductions of the team, my name is Kevin Morris. I'm an advisor of Jurny. I've spent a number of years in venture and hospitality, robotics, and AI. So when the team asked me to come on as an advisor, I was extremely excited to learn more about the company and help advise them on a number of areas. So I thank them for having me here today and excited to get going. So from the Jurny team, we have Jason Lopez, who's the Senior Director of Business Development. Jason's going to be answering a number of questions today and talking through the product. We also have founder and CEO Luca Zambello. Luca, before we get started, I'd love to hear a bit more about your background and what got you to found Jurny.
Yeah, well, thanks everybody for joining this webinar. Exciting to be sharing a lot of details about the company and do a deep dive on the product. Give a little bit of background about myself. Originally born and raised in Italy, moved to United States about 15 years ago and got involved in hospitality super early. Airbnb, actually Airbnb wasn't basically yet a thing. That was just a few years after I moved here. I launched the business within the industry. It was a landing page promoting luxury villas. Did really well because there was no competition. From there really scaled a management company to about 300 units with the idea of utilizing technology to make that company as scalable as possible. And in my mission of utilizing technologies, I was encountering a lot of issues, which were industry-wide issues of adopting different technologies and making them work together. So I started developing in the process a lot of software to compensate for all these things that other software providers couldn't provide to me and to the rest of the industry. And that what really led to start building Jurny. Because since 12 years ago, I had a vision of this almost fully automated operations in hospitality, all powered by technologies. Since the technologies were not there, we literally built the ultimate platform just to do that. And I think today we're going to go in details on how we did it and what we built.
So it sounds like you originally kind of the origins of what Jurny is today was sort of a bit self-serving in a good way. You had all these problems and you wanted to solve it for yourself, because I can imagine managing 300 units is not easy.
Yeah, I was definitely Jurny's first customer. But
first and best customer.
Yes. But what's interesting is that the same problem as we start growing, a lot of companies came from basically, like, let's say 10 years ago, a lot of management companies started building, and a lot of companies started raising venture money. We had Stay Alfred, Vacasa, which went public, and Thunder, which went public. And all of this company really didn't go. I mean, they did build something, but nobody really went and dominated the market. And the common denominator that really made them fail was the lack of infrastructure. And I've not met most of those founders in person. I know them personally. Former founder of Lyrics, Andrew, is now founder of Wheelhouse, so spun out a software as well, a very similar story to ours. And they all had the same commonality. And so I was baffled and hard to understand why nobody was like fixing this. And so we decided to take the problem firsthand. First, we did it for ourselves, but then just realized that we were fixing a much broader problem, and said, why don't we build a platform and just put it to the market and see what happened. And that's how we got to today.
Nice. Well, Jason, should we get a look under the hood?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I think the first question that is everyone's minds, and was frankly on my mind when I joined the team, was what, there's other tools out there that sort of do some of the things you guys do. What makes Jurny different from what's out there in the market right now?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Kevin. I think one of the things, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here for some supporting material. I think one of the main things that really sets Jurny apart from a lot of the legacy tools in the space is fragmentation. So this graph here, I think, does a good job of illustrating, and you guys can see my screen, right? Okay, awesome. I think this graph does a good job of illustrating a lot of the different kind of verticals of solutions in the market today. And as a user, you can see the user kind of stuck in the middle. They're confused, trying to figure out, what do I need for my business? What do I need to integrate? And typically they'll start with, property management software that you see up here on the upper left, and then integrate various other tools. And on average, we talk to, I talk to probably a dozen or 24 property managers or hosts per week. And on average, they have, 4, 5, 6 different tools integrated into their property management system. Those integrations are typically only one way, not two-way, meaning data is being pushed either from the PMS to that tool or from the tool back to the PMS, but not both ways. And so that contributes heavily to the fragmentation in the space. So Luca, I don't know if you wanted to chime in on this before we move on.
Yeah, I know. And I think to answer to the specific questions of really what sets us apart is the fact that we saw this as a problem, and this was the core problem of the whole industry. This causes fragmentation itself. Obviously, it's a problem because it's confusing. So from a user standpoint, it's now easy to adopt technologies. It's extremely complicated, high barrier to entry, and still, it's over $1 trillion industry if you put it all together. But again, it's extremely fragmented and extremely hard to adopt. And the second issues of this from the fragmentation is not only the fragmentation from a user standpoint, but also fragmentation of a data standpoint. Having data fragmented, it means you can really not leverage the data properly. Once you have a centralized place for data, it means you can do a lot more with it. It means you can have a lot more features. And it also means that you can utilize tools like AI. We all know AI does not work well with fragmented data, and the more data you have, actually, the more powerful AI is. And so up until today, I say our most direct competitors are PMSs, property management systems. So to name a few, you can say Guesty, Hostfully, Track, and there's obviously a few more, but they all choose the same. We were just a VRMA conference, international conference of our industry, and everybody adopts the same model, which is they create this core functionality as a property management software. Usually that's a centralized inbox, connectivity to channels, and data reporting. And then everything else, it's outsourced by building a marketplace and allowing the users kind of like fully customize the system as they want it. And at least that sounds good on paper. But the problem of that is, again, there's hundreds of different solutions. Those solutions don't work with one another. And oftentimes it's a one-way integration. Because let's say for pricing, there's 262 solutions that you can see on the screen. That means that even if you want to just integrate with a third to have a decent marketplace, that means that you are now integrating with like 70, 80 different providers for just one single category, and you have to manage those API connections. Jurny took a completely different approach, and I think to look at that approach, we might want to go on the website, Jason, on our actually like on the homepage of the website where we show the packages that we have. So Jurny took, I say like, kind of for us to use an example, we can say like we like to look at Apple. If you look at our booth, even this year, we have a very much Apple style, so to simplify things. But also we took the approach of creating the first industry vertically integrated system. Because in the end of the day, we realize that people don't care about what provider gives what, they just care to have a system that works. And so why not choose one provider per category and go as deep as possible with those integrations and those partnerships, and now have the entirety of their future tool set included into our system, which Jason is going to show you quickly. But I first want to show you in a graph, meaning on our pricing page, another big differentiator by building this vertically integrated system. It allows us now to service the whole spectrum of the industry versus focusing on just one spectrum. And if you look at most PMSs, say, oh, we only focus on 1 to 2 units providers, which, by the way, it's completely underserved, and they cannot actually service that side of the business. And then you have people that are like, oh, we do 50 to 100, but why do they do that? And why 100 to 500? And why can they not service the whole spectrum? It's because their product cannot be customizable in the way that our product is, because by being vertically integrated, we can give you access to just a handful of tools at first, to then go into a more pro tool, right? Where it gives you like a broader spectrum of products, actually the broadest spectrum of products and functionalities within the whole industry. And so that allows us to start with a product like growth sell with a free product, when we are the only one in the industry that is doing that and has a free product. And it can go all the way to more premiums of $69 or even more per unit per month. So let's go into the details. Maybe if you, I don't know if you want to show a little bit on what it means in practicality, what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to echo kind of what Luca was mentioning, one of the big problems in the fragmentation is the barrier to entry, having to figure out which tools work together and then integrate them, and learning those tools, training your teams on those tools, and then using those tools on a daily basis, 4 or 5, 6 different platforms on a daily basis. It's just not a good user experience. So what we've done is we've embedded some of these best-in-class tools that Luca was talking about, like pricing, directly within the dashboard here, so that our users do not have to log into multiple dashboards per day. They don't pay multiple vendors every month. They don't have to deal with multiple renewals. They don't have to learn all these different platforms, and they don't have to train their teams on all these different platforms. So simplicity is key here. You'll notice everything is integrated, but for example, our pricing is right here in our native menu, our IoT hub. So this is where you can control all of your smart locks, smart thermostats, and other smart devices directly from Jurny. So I'll go ahead and kind of jump in here and show you what that looks like. For example, on the pricing side, this is all powered by our partner Wheelhouse. They are one of the best in class dynamic pricing tools on the market. And everything is directly powered in here by them, and it's directly embedded.
And that's exactly what I wanted to add. It doesn't mean we're doing everything ourselves, but it means we choose the best in class for the things that we know there are best in class, and embed them into our system. Which is, from a user experience, this means you don't have to research tens of thousands of tools sometimes, and even if you per category, sometimes it's hundreds of tools just on a single category. B, it means you now manage everything from a single dashboard. Other tools, other PMSs in the market, that means if you have 10 tools, you are managing 10 tools on 10 different dashboards. With Jurny, you manage all of them into a single dashboard.
Quick question. So on this, we're seeing, pricing for the month, or sort of maybe suggested pricing, and having spent a number of years in revenue management in the airline industry, the goal here is to really maximize profits for this particular property, because again, there's a fixed cost, right? And so the goal is you want to maximize revenue, but also make sure that someone shows up, because if you don't fill a night, you've lost that. So here it's like, well, potentially they're suggesting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are cheaper because there's less demand there. So let's lower the price to try and convince people to stay, versus the weekends, there's typically higher demand. And so, and will a solution like this also look at sort of seasonality, or maybe what's also going on in that city or country at the same time?
That is exactly correct. And if you scroll down, it gives you kind of a heat map of the market to show where the demand is and where it's the highest, so it can help you price things better. And yes, that's why we integrated with one of the best pricing tools. But our integration allows you to now have dynamic pricing. If you have 1,000 units, you can have custom dynamic pricing for every single thousands of units, which makes that pricing management a lot more scalable, versus you having to do it obviously one by one, or having to connect each units one by one if you wanted to use Wheelhouse with a third-party systems. And oftentimes this integration don't work well because, again, they're not integrated with one pricing tool, they integrate with 20, 30, or 100 pricing tools, which means that these integrations are often broken and they're not two ways, and definitely you cannot manage them from a single dashboard.
Yep.
Got it. So just shifting gears slightly, obviously there's a lot of integrations there, and I think it's pretty clear what value Jurny adds, but you guys also talk about being AI driven, or AI being a huge part of your differentiating factor. Maybe give us some examples of how you guys use AI, and I think you call AI your AI engine Nia. How you use AI, or how your customers can use AI to leverage and sort of streamline operations.
Yeah, that's a great question, Kevin. So there are multiple ways that customers are leveraging AI currently today. I think we're probably one of the only AI tools with a live working, functional use case that's actually driving efficiency in the market. So this is our unified inbox, where you, as a host or as a property manager, will receive all of your messages from any OTA that you're connected to. You'll see here some symbols like Airbnb, Booking.com, VRBO. So all of your messages flow in here. This is integrated also with email, SMS, and WhatsApp. So full coverage as far as messaging. And you'll see that this particular message thread has a message from the guest, and Nia, our AI, is automatically recommending a response. So you can go ahead and edit that suggestion if it needs to be edited, or you can go ahead and send it if it's, if it's good. So the AI has all of the information available within the system available to it, as well as custom information. So for example, at the listing level here, we're looking at a unit. All of this basic detail information, the AI already has access to, because as Luca mentioned earlier, all of the data within Jurny is centralized. So we have pricing information, we have smart lock information, we have unit information. Everything that's in there, the AI has access to, and it can reference when it's answering guests. Additionally, we have custom FAQs here for Nia that you can upload as a host or property manager for anything that isn't already in the system. And this allows Nia to really, power most of your guest conversations here. So we're seeing, on the guest experience side, we're seeing 80% plus increases in efficiency, both response times and response quality from guest experience teams. One of the big kind of
and I just want to add one more data point, sorry, before you you go deeper into this. 80% increase in efficiency with the assistant response mode, which I think that's what Jason is going to, that we have a deeper mode. And considering the fact that as of now, we cannot answer 100% of the questions, but this is just the fact that you have to put yourself in the shoes of a host and what they need to do. And oftentimes this host, or especially if they have a customer support team, they manage multiple units, and each informations are different for each different units, and they have to go into a manual, like into an actual database themselves, which could be an Excel sheet or whatever they store their information, and research every single time a guest asks specific questions about what's the Netflix login for that unit, how does the microwave work. So all this information already available, we gather them with the FAQ. Now hosts can gather them into a single place. So just the fact that they can go on the chatbot, on the unified inbox, doesn't matter where the message is coming from, WhatsApp text messaging, Airbnb, VRBO, whatever message they have, 90% of the times those responses are there and accurate. And we have over 90% now non-editing response. So it means that 90% of the responses that we're giving are completely accurate. Just that, and the saving of the time of not having to go through and gathering all this information, it's making a massive impact on this people operations. And it can sometimes 10x what a regular operator could handle before to what it can handle now, because now it's almost like, hey, just let me make sure that I'm not missing something. Oh, this is not an information that's not available in our database, and I can just click send. So just want to open that parenthesis. Sorry, Jason, go ahead.
Nope, you're good. That's exactly what I was going to mention. So yeah, I mean, picture that you need, you manage 100 properties as a property manager, and a guest asks for a Wi-Fi password. Typically, the guest experience team is referencing an Excel sheet or just a Google Doc or something, looking for that information and then replying to the guest. having the AI just prompt that information immediately for you is just a huge time saver. And to Luca's point, we're using assisted response here, so it's not even the fully autonomous mode, which is available. And actually, the AI can go ahead and respond automatically on behalf of the host or property manager. So this is one way that that folks are leveraging AI. This is one of the major innovations that we're constantly improving. Reviews is also another area where AI can be leveraged, and so this is a very typical Airbnb review, and we can go ahead and actually see if I can. Sorry, I'm gonna move this out of the way. My video is blocking my response box. There we go. So we can actually go ahead and generate automatic responses here with Nia for this review, and it'll be a totally custom review response for this guest in just a couple of seconds. And then with the click of a button, you can go ahead and post it. So there's our response. And then with the click of a button, we can go ahead and post it to Airbnb directly. So this is another huge time saver. This process can also be automated with AI. And this is saving folks many hours per week responding to reviews. Another area of the platform where we are leveraging AI is within the actual listing creation process. So another big area of a big time sink for property managers is when they're onboarding new listings, just creating those listings, listing names, listing descriptions. And so our AI can go ahead and actually help with that, just with a simple prompt. You know, maybe this could be a luxury apartment in the heart of Dallas. And you can go ahead and generate recommended listing titles with Nia. You can also generate listing descriptions. And so this is a huge time saver for hosts as well. Changing your listing descriptions and listing names helps to rank better on the OTAs. It's something typically you want to do once or twice a week, or every other week rather, just to kind of stay on top of your market. And so this is another way that you can leverage AI to do that.
And you mentioned, just throwing in the OTAs, online travel agencies, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Thanks.
sort of all those things. Okay. Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying that, Kevin. Yes. Online travel agencies like Airbnb, Booking.com, VRBO, Expedia, so on and so forth. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was going to jump into the data and autonomous agents. Okay, cool. So one other way that we're leveraging AI, this is already being tested and coming very soon for our customers, but you can see we have various autonomous AI agents available here. So one example could be, you know, a data scientist agent, for example, and we can actually go ahead and prompt this agent for any data that we want to see. So let's say, what is my revenue for October of 2023 versus 2022 at BBB? And so this data analyst will actually go ahead and compile this data for you. It'll give you these answers. You can ask for this data in visual representation. It'll give you graphs, as you can see here, and you can even go ahead and export this. And it'll go ahead and generate a PDF file for you. So this is one way that you can leverage autonomous AI agents to build custom reports and then go ahead and export them, as you can see here.
And I wanted to expand really on this because Jurny is a game changer, just the way we are unifying technologies into a single dashboard, and then we are revolutionizing just the user experience in general as it is. But if we're talking about AI specifically, even large companies are not providing some of the tools that we're providing, and I'm talking about in completely different industries, let alone the fact that we're obviously way further along than anybody in hospitality. But I'm talking about in general, the AI race in specific industry. We have capabilities that I have not seen in other systems, and especially the ones of having unique specialized agents for different tasks. and having master agents managing this, it's almost like you have infinite scalable teams working under you. And this is where just at the very beginning of this, right? And this is with ChatGPT-4, we can already make insane tools and insane efficiency tools and agents for hosts without the further improvements of AI. And if you consider AI is actually doubling power on average every 3.5, 4 months, you can only imagine where this is going to go, right? This is going to almost fully automate operations for a host. And we are connectivity, all of these tools, not just on us from a software side, but we are also super interconnected with hardware. So now you can have real life usage of things like opening door, controlling thermostats, noise monitoring system, all connected, and all this data is centralized into a single place. So it's not about just affecting what's the backend office work, but it's also affecting what is actually would be a front hand work of actually people running the day-to-day operations of an hotels or a short-term rental. Outside of cleaning, which obviously we have tools that helps automate a lot of processes within the cleaning, but you cannot automate the cleaning itself yet. Robotics is not there yet, will be probably soon. But everything else can be basically fully automated. And this is, and when we're considering that we've done market research of over $1 trillion that's being spent on operational cost. We're talking about here being able to automate 50-60% of that component of operational costs. So the market is massive, and we're all operating in thanks to the power of AI and automation on the platform that we have built.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Luca. And just to also add to that, one, what kind of ties back to Kevin's first question about what makes Jurny different. We talked about a lot about the data being centralized, and we also mentioned being at VRMA. And one of the things I noticed is that almost every tool now has an AI component. But what I thought was funny is that they're all still trying to figure out, like, just the chat component, just trying to figure out how to get the AI to stop hallucinating. And that ties back to the problem of not having the data that it needs to be able to answer contextually. So
nice. Well, thank you for walking through that. I'm sure we could go. I'm sure you guys would talk about this forever, but I want to move on to the next part of the webinar. Before I do that, just as a reminder, everyone, if you have any questions, we're going to have time at the end for Q&A. There's a section at the bottom of your Zoom screen that says Q&A. Go ahead and type it in there, even if you have an idea right now. And in about 10 or so minutes, we'll segue into that part of the webinar. So guys, obviously this is super cool what you guys have built so far, and sounds like you're making people's lives easier. Can you give us some more specifics about what responses you've received from customers and current users about sort of how happy they are with what you've built so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. We'll show you a little bit of empirical data, and then we have some anecdotal kind of stories, I guess, for you guys from VRMA. So the first thing that I would like to share is our NPS responses here. You can see NPS is a metric tracked typically by software companies, but many different industries. It was created by Bain & Co., and it's a measure of basically how happy your customers are. And I'm sure most people in this call have seen, at one point or another, a question that says, "Would you recommend?" Name your brand. And it's a scale of 1 to 10. And so that's what the NPS is. Bain & Co. had, when they created this metric, they kind of designated a scale. So anything over 100 is considered good. Anything over 30 is considered great, and anything over 50 is considered excellent. And then anything over 80
over 1, maybe not 100. I think you said over 100. Over
anything over 0 is considered good.
Okay.
Because you can actually go negative. Well, so so anything less, if you rate it, basically if you rate anything less than an 8, it counts as a negative. So you can actually get negative scores. And then anything over 80% is the top 1 percentile. So 53 is considered excellent. We're not in the top 1 percentile just yet, but we do strive to get there. And then we also have some actual feedback that we did want to share so that you can see what our customers are actually saying. These are some of the comments. Your product is getting better and better. I'd like to stick around and witness what it becomes. Great job. Very user-friendly. Folks are very helpful. Smooth. Love it. Very intuitive and easy to use. Jurny will be the backbone of my business as I scale my STRs. The product is innovative. Their staff are caring and helpful because they want you to run your business smoothly. This is a great one. Love this. It's easy to use and helps manage my rates easily. Here's a great one. A company that is headed in the latest innovation at the speed it produces for its customers. So just some feedback for you guys to be able to see here. And then the last thing that I wanted to share on the NPS side is just some industry averages. So these are NPS scores by industry, and these are the averages. So you can kind of see where we rank or where we stack up against, some of the other industries. You can see software companies down here, an average of 18. You can see hotels, for example, at an average of 26. Travel websites at an average of 22. So we're doing pretty well on the NPS side as well.
Yeah, we're 50. What are we? 50.
53. Yeah.
53. So like we're above smartphones.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Nice. Let's move into sort of traction, user growth, revenue, what your funnel looks like, all those sorts of things.
Yeah, Luca, did you want me to kick that off or?
Yeah, I mean, I think we would like to address VRMA. I mean, it's been exciting last I say 3-4 months, and then probably not everybody knows the entirety of the journey, but we really, like we mentioned, we're a management company and launched the product, really the SaaS product, 12 months ago, right? We had revenue because we were offering, we call it like MWAS Pro Plus, so it's kind of like services mixed with software, while we were building up the software to make sure that there was demand in the market. But we really launched the software as everybody sees it today. I mean, it's been a lot of improvements since, but 12 months ago. And so we had 12 months to make improvements and really get it to where we wanted to get it. And I say as of probably 3 months ago, we finally got to that I say like almost finish line, but it's really a start line for now the growth of the company. And one of the last biggest partnerships, it's going to be announced like actually next week. We cannot mention who they are yet, but it's a pretty large company we just partner up with. And this year we partner up with Airbnb. We did the deep integrations with Turno and many other partners, right? So it was a lot of work that has been done. And really, until now, we kind of had to sell the dream of what the software was going to be. But we couldn't really provide what we wanted to build. And the promise of what we wanted to build is being built about 3 months ago. And I say as of like a month ago was exactly how we envisioned it from day one. And the response has been insane. Just in the last month, we had a record-breaking sell month for the SaaS. This month looks like we're going to be beating September. And our pipeline for November, and all Q4, to be honest, it's bigger, much bigger than the entire company side. If we were to just close, we said 30% of our existing pipeline, we will double in size in terms of revenue. And this is important information for why I wanted to give you the background, because we purposely held back until now, and now we decided not to, and these are the results. So I'll let Jason go in a little bit more details and actually share actual numbers, but just wanted to give you guys a little bit of background.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think VRMA, the overwhelmingly positive feedback that we had there, I think just from VRMA, I was running the numbers. We had over 3 million in qualified pipeline generated just from VRMA. Last month, we had a 40% increase in SaaS revenue in September alone. Over the past 3 months, we've seen a 650% increase in users. So we've seen an exponential boom recently. Our product-led growth so our freemium product is a PLG motion. So product led, meaning it's a free product, it's free forever. You can sign up for that. You can use it, for free. And we're upgrading 30% of our onboarded customers on that product to paid customers, which is a substantial number. I think Luca, we were talking, the average for product led companies is way lower. So we're seeing significant traction in the business as well.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I think now's a good time to move over to Q&A. Just everyone as a reminder, there's a Q&A section at the bottom of your Zoom screen. You can ask questions there. And let's get into it. So first question we have is, why did Jurny decide to target the short-term rental, sort of vacation rental market first versus, say, other areas like hotels or sort of larger apartment complexes?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And the number one reason is because you have to target where the innovation is happening and where the market is more looking for innovations, right? Like the short-term rental market is looking at how to get an edge on the hotel market. So they're constantly looking for innovation, constantly looking for new tools. Versus on the other end, you have the exact opposite. You have these legacy businesses that they don't have any incentives to innovate. And so for us to go and try to sell to hotels, although our tool can completely change their margins and their business model and make them way more profitable than they are today, it's a long sales process. And the short-term rental market alone, it's so big. We're talking about 9 million hosts if you include VRBO and Airbnb and Expedia together, where just a small piece of that market will put us into the billions of dollars potentially of evaluation. So we're going after that market. And also I think it's another important piece of information is that innovation is coming from there. So there are going to be hotel disruptors. They're going to be coming from the short-term rental industry. It's already happening. A lot of these companies are expanding into taking over poorly run boutique hotels and transforming them to highly efficient machines and increasing the margins and profitability. So we are big believers in the short-term rental markets. We think a lot more monies are going to be pouring in, and we're just at the very beginning. And very likely large hotels are going to be disrupted if they don't innovate fast enough. And they won't be able to innovate fast enough when there's people like us that we've been in this game and been working with AI already for years and build something that you cannot build overnight.
Great. Next question. Great. What do you consider the biggest threats or risks to your business?
I mean, it's really like it's any threat that it could be in any other startups. We have massive product market fit. It's about growing fast before anybody else can come up with competitive products. Really, we have indirect competitors of people that are in the same categories of us, but nobody's like doing exactly what we're doing. So we have an edge, and we have to really take advantage of that. And so I think that our biggest threat is not moving fast enough.
Next question. In the daily wheelhouse pricing, are city events factored into the daily pricing? Like if the Super Bowl were in town, does that automatically get reflected?
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what those algorithms do. It's a form of AI as well. It's not ours, it's wheelhouse, but that's exactly what they do.
Next question, very targeted question, but it was the first one in there. And so there's clearly an expert watching, but what makes Wheelhouse better than Price Labs is the question.
Honestly, even if they were identical, and I think it comes down to user preference. I think what's very important, and this is like something that customers and people that work with us see once they start using the product, is that once the product is embedded into our system, it becomes better than it was before because they have access to more data, and there's this collaboration between two software companies to build something that it didn't exist before. So really, if we would have chose Price Lab and we didn't choose it for the fact of API connectivity and really vision for the future where they're going to be going, eventually whichever partner would partner with us would it be better because of access to more data and more functionalities.
Great. Next question. Do you anticipate the percentage upgrade from free service to paid to grow beyond the 30%, Jason, that you mentioned earlier in the presentation?
Well, actually, the 30% is a substantial number. But having said that, we do expect it to grow because we are working on some ways to improve the efficiency of onboarding process, activation process, and so we do anticipate that number will improve. We've also actually just this week simplified our sign up process, which we had a little bit of a drop off in users there. So we're optimizing and absolutely do expect it to improve.
And it's 4 months old, just so people know.
Yeah.
In 4 months, we got 30%. It's pretty crazy.
Pretty good, yeah. Luca, you mentioned using robotics for cleaning, which is not available yet, obviously. I don't think the market's quite there. But are there any companies that you're looking at that you may want to work with eventually on something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we are. I don't have any specific partners to mention because I think we're definitely a few years away from them. But any relevant technology in terms of hardware we integrate with once we think it's relevant enough. For example, we did that for the smart lock systems. We did that for smart thermostats, and we did that for noise monitoring, smoke sensors. All this digital hardware that allows you to have an overview exactly what's happening in the units at all time without you being there.
Okay. Next question is, your AI is based off of ChatGPT-4, is that correct? And then related is, what platform is the overall Jurny platform based off of?
Yeah, well, Jurny's platform is built from scratch. So we built everything. The only component that we are leveraging a third-party technology is on those embedded technologies that we showed you guys, like Wheelhouse, like AutoHost, and Turno are like our three main partners. And from an AI standpoint, we're big believers that LLMs are going to be a commodity. The end of the day, if you want to build your own LLM, you're going to be competing against Facebook, Google, and Microsoft, all the big tech giants that have unlimited resources. So that's not where the opportunity is. I've talked about it in previous panels, and a lot of people in the AI space agrees with what our philosophy is creating the infrastructure and having proprietary data is where the money is at for every startup. So for now, we're only leveraging ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo, 3.5 Turbo, and then the 4. It's a combination of both, depending on which task we need to use. But as you can see, OpenAI is going to image recognitions and many other voice recognition, many other functionalities. So I deeply believe in OpenAI, and I think like sticking with them is going to be the ultimate solutions. And our job is to making sure that we give the best infrastructure for the best type of prompting. The more data you give to these LLMs, the more precise answers you're going to be getting. I think that's an overlooked problem oftentimes, but that's really what we're working on, and have the ultimate best prompt, and having a ways that where you can give a lot more prompt simultaneously and have multiple prompts happening at the same time to be combined into a single answer. That's really like some of the engineering that is happening on the back end, and I think we're one of the most ahead of the games companies in that.
The next one is not a question, it's more of a shout out from Nicole. She said, don't forget to promote your amazing customer service. She says, I'm not techie and would have thrown in the towel a long time ago, but your staff is priceless. They have kept me in the game and I'm building more confidence all the time. Jurny is innovative and so helpful. Ladies and gentlemen, that's this is not a paid promotion. Somebody just posted that, but I guess, talk me through your team a bit and sort of, obviously you have all these hosts and not everyone is tech savvy, even though your tech is amazing. What's your customer service team like?
I love that. Yeah, we all often focus on just technology and don't talk enough about people. I think we have an amazing team that truly believe in the missions of what we're building. Education is going to be a big piece, I think, for us in the future, especially as we are focusing less on having to develop the whole software, but really like start educating people how this technology works and how to properly leverage them. And having a good team it's key. It's a key component in this. And yeah, we have an awesome team. Everybody really cares because everybody really believes in the mission of what we're doing. And by being former operators, basically most of the people coming from this group were former operators. Even the tech people have been somewhat involved in when we were a management company. We have a true passion about solving an industry problem, and so ultimately, I think everybody really cares.
Great. We have time for a few more questions. Next one is, do you have any intentions to integrate with other tools that may be more advanced than your current ones?
Yeah, I mean, we're always on the lookout to improving the product. I think we are covering probably 95% of functionalities that 80% of the market needs. And we have one-off partnerships with. I mean, we have some large customers which we cannot name yet, that they want some type of custom functionalities, and we sometimes build those for them.
Great. We'll do two more questions. Next one is, what are some of the trends that you're seeing with operators that you work with and speak with daily?
Well, like if it's outside of what do we speak with daily? I think where the industry is heading, I think is very interesting. It's like kind of like a rush on professionalizing your operation. I think competition is increasing drastically, so people really need to look at how to get an edge from the competition, and I think we as a platform need to make sure that we always provide that edge, number one, and B, make sure that we educate people so that they can leverage this technology well enough so that they can get even bigger edge.
Last question. Are you planning, you're obviously fundraising right now, but are you planning any additional fundraising or crowdfunding campaigns after this current one?
Honestly, we don't know if we're going to do other crowdfundings. We have yet to decide that. We have to discuss it internally. We're venture backed, and VCs are getting very excited about our growth. So we'll need to see.
Great. All right. Before I sort of close things up, Jason or Luca, any closing thoughts or final comments from you?
No, I mean, if we haven't, first of all, I appreciate we got an amazing turnout here. I appreciate the support we got so far from our customers that have invested in our company, and a lot of the Founder community, and a lot of obviously angel investors and VCs. It's been amazing. I don't think I saw the Q&A where there's like several answers still being unanswered, so I want to make sure that we address every single question. I know we're running out of time, but if people want to reach out to me directly, I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have. We're extremely excited about the fact that we're closing in 7 days. Got a lot of stuff brewing, a lot of updates that are going to be coming in these days. So I'm excited, and thank you everybody really for coming and being excited about what we're building, just as excited as we are.
Great. Well, yeah, I know there were a couple unanswered questions. We have all those, and we will do our best to respond to them. If you had a question that you wanted to ask but didn't get answered at all, or you didn't get a chance to ask, you're welcome to reach out to the company on Jurny.com. Additionally, from a fundraising perspective, the company is raising right now on WeFunder. You can visit their page, wefunder.com/Jurny. And there's actually an area where you can ask questions. You can also stay updated for other things about the business. As Luca mentioned, sounds like there's some exciting news coming out next week. And as a reminder, the fundraise closes next Thursday. So in just over a week, November 2nd, the company's raised over $2.7 million from about 700 people so far. And the round does close next Thursday. So if you're still interested in investing, I suggest you check out their page and hopefully invest before the round closes. So with that, thank you everyone for attending. Jason and Luca, thanks for, of course, taking the time to talk about the company and your passion for it. And everyone have a good rest of your week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Kevin.